All right, welcome. My name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor, and this is day 2 of your 7-day fast track. It is the second in a 2-part webinar series that we do to get you started, and then we have the fast track program that you can participate each day on a Facebook group to help you learn how to do and live the Shibboleth lifestyle. Tonight, we are going to talk about simple food combining. Last night, one of the things that I said was the most important thing that you could do is to familiarize yourself with the categories and then what foods go in those categories. So tonight, we're going to dive into a little bit of that and hopefully expand on your knowledge there. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And you are going to get this website shared to you, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm going to post it in the new member fast track group shortly. After this is over. If you are not in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, please go ahead and join that. Request it. It's real simple. You just go to your Facebook, put in the search Shibboleth new member, and it should start pulling it up. But if you need to add fast track, you can do that. After this webinar is over, I will let people in because people always request to be in that group after this because they didn't know about the group somehow. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about simple food combining. Last night was a program overview. If you did not watch last night's video, I need you to watch that video. It's very, very important that you have this framework of knowledge, that you're going to start placing all the little bits and pieces that help you build that out somewhere. You've got to have somewhere to put that. So this is a framework that you're building. So I need you to watch the program overview last night if you did not watch that. But then tonight is part 2. I'm going to read the list every time we come to a new list, but I'm not going to reread the list every single time because that would be redundant. So I'm going to read it every single time we come to a new list. And what I'm trying to do in reading this to you is allow you to hear the types of foods that come in each of the categories because that's important. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go over this MCT oil again. I'm going to go over the condiments again, all in this first row, but I'm not going to do that every single time I come to a new row. Last night, on the first night, the program overview, I don't ever go over the condiments. I do that on the second night, which is tonight, so we're going to hit that in just a second because there's lots and lots of sneaky calories in condiments, so it is a place that we can improve, okay? So the very first thing we're going to look at is some things that are in a category 1. Category 1 is a lean protein. You also might see that on your combination chart as LP. So you'll see a 1 and then you'll see an LP. That just means category 1 lean protein. You can have 2 to 8 ounces of a lean protein. And some of the things that are included in that are egg whites, fish, chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef frank, one of them, and 96% lean ground meat. So those are all some suggestions that come in the lean protein category. If you are not a meat eater, then you can go to the food library, click on lean protein, and you can filter that out for vegetarian or vegan if you don't like those selections, okay? The next thing we're going to look about here is our cooking oils. So last night in our video, we went over the fact that MCT oil, and specifically the one from our store, the Zero Drag brand, that's the one we truly believe in the best, but MCT oil is the best oil that you can use. There's some things that you want to make sure that when you're purchasing MCT oil that it's good for. You need to make sure that it's good for cooking. So that ours is optimized for cooking. Ours has 100 calories per tablespoon, where most MCT oils that I've looked at in the general public have 130 calories per tablespoon. So ours only has 100, which, it does make a difference over the long period. So you also want to make sure that it's good for cooking. So when you read the bottle, make sure that it should not cook with this, okay? Because that's not the one you want to use. You also want to make sure that it's not emulsified MCTs, make sure it's not emulsified. And you also want to make sure that it's just not repackaged coconut oil, okay? You want it to be truly 100% MCT oil. And I like the Zero Drag brand sold at the Shibboleth store. If you do not live near one of our locations in Kennesaw or Dalton, Georgia, you can order online. And once you have a 30 in there, they ship it for free. So it's really, really good. Okay, the other things that you could use for your oils are coconut oil, which is 60% MCT oils, ghee butter, which is a clarified butter, hemp oil, and you could use 0-calorie cooking spray. I've had a great question recently. Why would you want to use MCT oil, which has calories in it, and it's a fat, versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, one reason is MCT oil is thermogenic, so it does help you burn a few extra calories. Now, what I don't want you to hear me say is, yay, I'm going to take MCT oil to burn calories. No, it's just part of what you do in having a properly combined, properly cooked meal. And it really does add some nice flavor. I think it does to it. It doesn't have any flavor itself, in my opinion, but once you've cooked with it, it adds up some flavor. So it's really good. So I would say that the reasons you want to use it is that it's thermogenic and it helps burn extra calories. But you're hearing me say that. What I don't want you to hear me say is take it as a supplement. We don't take it as a supplement. We don't put it in our coffee and make bulletproof coffee, and we don't put it in our shakes. We're going to use it for the purpose of cooking only. So if you're cooking yourself some chicken, you can use some. If you're cooking one piece of chicken for you, use 1 tablespoon. Cooking 4 pieces of chicken for the family, you can use 4 tablespoons, okay? You can also use it as the oil in a recipe. You can also make salad dressing with it. So you can use it for those purposes. MCT oil is also not an easily accessible source of energy for your body because it burns up so quickly. And in one way for us to burn stored energy, which is fat, is for us to not give our body easily accessible energy, so that our body must access stored energy and burn it off, because that's our goal, okay? So MCT is not an easily accessible source of energy because it burns up like that. It has almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat. That's why we use that. Okay, let's look at condiments. I'm just going to read these and then I'll tell you the rule. Our condiments are 0-calorie condiments, 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper, 15-calorie or less coffee creamers. We've got salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. All of those things are listed in our food library. The condiment list in the food library, because there's an entire section on condiments. It's big. There's a lot of items in there, but here's the thing. We're not ever going to have every single item that can be used as a condiment in the food library. So what I need you to know is I need you to know the rule, okay? So let's say that you're just getting started in Shibboleth and you are in the grocery store aisle and you think, I need some barbecue sauce. And you go over and you pick off a barbecue sauce off the shelf and you look it up and you don't see it in there. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the nutrition label and you're going to look for 2 very important things. You're going to look for how much sugar is in there, and you're going to look for how much fat is in there. You want to make sure that the condiment that you have picked up has 5 grams of sugar or less per serving and 2 grams of fat or less per serving. So we call this rule the 5, 2, and few rule. 5 has to do with the sugars that I just talked about. 2 has to do with the fats that I just talked about. And the few means you're just going to use a little bit of it. You're going to use it sparingly. You can use up to 50 calories of condiments in a meal if you would like to. So up to 50 calories worth of condiments in a meal. You could have that at all 3 meals in a day if you chose to. Here's the thing. I'm going to do some calculations in just a second about how quickly they can add up. So I want you to be picky. But real quick, I want to go back over. So if you are wondering if an item can be used as a condiment, as long as the item has 5 grams of sugar or less per serving, 2 grams of fat or less per serving, and you're only going to use up to 50 calories, you can use absolutely anything as a condiment. So let's say that you are thinking, I cannot remember what she said. How many sugars? How many fats? Well, the word sugar has 5 letters. So maybe you can use that to remember it. And that was a fun little trick from Patricia Hurt. So the other thing is you can use more than one condiment on a meal, but you don't want them together to be more than 50 calories. So let's say you put a piece of cheese on a meal and that cheese is 30 calories. Let's say you want some ketchup with that meal, then you've got up to 20 calories in ketchup that you can use. So you don't want your condiments to be over 50 calories on any given meal. So let's take 50 calories times 3. 50 times 3 is 150. So that's 150 calories in a day that if you be more choosy with your condiments that you can eliminate. So over the course of a week, 150 times 7, I think that's 1,050 calories you could eliminate if you didn't use condiments at all. Now, I don't expect people not to use condiments at all, but what I do want to give you a tip on is just to be choosy with them. I know that I have found out that I don't need a piece of cheese on absolutely everything I eat like I used to, because there are things that the cheese doesn't even make a difference in how it tastes. So that's the thing I might want to choose to leave the cheese off. But if the cheese is what's making something taste like it should, then go ahead and use the cheese. But just be picky right there, okay? Now, what this row right here is telling us, this row here is telling us that we can eat a lean protein by itself. Now, in last night's video, I did tell you the 5 categories that you could eat by themselves. There's 7 categories of food. You can eat 5 of them without even combining them if you choose to. And category 1 is one of those. So right here, if you took yourself a piece of chicken breast, cook it up in MCT oil and throw on some condiments, you'll have an excellent fat burning meal. So we're going to scroll up a little bit more and I'm going to see if somebody can remember what I said last night. So how many calories, oh, no, that's not the right question. What did I say last night that shellfish is? Shellfish is really just a what? Awesome, Julie. Yes, awesome. So shellfish is really just a lean protein. So category 7 and category 1 can be used the exact same way. Shellfish just got pulled off of the main category 1 lean protein category because of biblical reasons and medical reasons. People don't want to eat it. So they don't even have to worry about 7s if you're not a shellfish eater. Okay, but you can have 2 to 8 ounces of this one, just like you can a lean protein. And some examples of shellfish are crab and lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. Those are all examples of shellfish. And we've already gone over the oils and the condiments. So what this row is saying is that you can eat shellfish by itself, cook it up in the right oil, have some delicious condiment on it, and have an excellent fat burning meal. So let's scroll up a little bit more. Now, one of the things that we didn't even talk about last night, I usually hit tonight because of the way this website is set up, is hemp products. Hemp products are amazing. Now, I'm one it takes a minute to come around to things. I didn't have hemp products in the beginning, and sometimes when you're not eating nearly as much food, because in Shibboleth, I'm not eating as much food, it takes me a while just to figure out all the things I do and don't like. Well, all of a sudden, I have been trying hemp products for past few months, in 2020, basically. Oh my goodness, they are awesome and amazing. I absolutely love them. So I encourage you to be quicker to come around to them than I was, okay? But hemp hearts are good, hemp flakes are good, very sweet hemp flakes, and hemp protein powder and hemp oil. So all those are hemp products that you could use. Now, I do want you to know the difference between a couple of these. Hemp hearts are considered a category 6 superfood. Now, last night we talked about what qualifies a food to be a superfood. Who can tell me what qualifies a food to be a superfood? Awesome, Julie. Awesome. Yes, it has all 4 macronutrients in it. So an item would have to have water and it would have to have protein, carbs, and fat in it for it to qualify to be a superfood. And hemp hearts are considered a superfood because it has all 4 of those things in there. Now, hemp flakes, they are considered a category 1 and 2. So a category 1 is your lean protein, category 2 is your fibrous carb. Hemp flakes have enough protein and fiber in them to be considered a category 1 and 2, which is really, really awesome. Sweet hemp flakes have a maple syrup on there, and they have a little bit of a mesquite flavoring in there. I don't taste an overly mesquite flavor or anything like that. They're just awesome. In fact, one time I just couldn't even quit eating them. It turned into a holiday because I couldn't quit eating the very sweet hemp flakes. That's what it was, because and then hemp protein powder. I'm not sure which one that is, but because I haven't tried it yet. So you can put a category 1 lean protein with one of these hemp products, cook it up in the right oil, and have some condiments on there, and it is delicious. When I'm using hemp flakes, I do 3 to 5 tablespoons as my side item. I don't even really need any condiments. They're so good. So I don't even really need that. But you could use the condiment and the oil maybe on maybe your turkey breast or whatever else you're cooking. You can have that. Now, let's talk about the difference between a hemp heart and a hemp flake can't think of the right word, from the perspective of weight loss and wellness, okay? Hemp hearts are for wellness. Hemp flakes are better for weight loss. Nutrition is actually situational. If you've ever listened to Travis in any of his classes long enough, over enough time, you'll find out that he's going to ask you, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Because nutrition is situational. So if you are trying to lose weight, then your hemp flakes are going to be better for you. They're like a 10. They're a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. They're top notch for weight loss, but they're more like an 8 for wellness. They're still great for wellness, but they're better for weight loss. Then if you think about your hemp hearts, let's say that you are at maintenance and you are more focused on wellness, then maybe you want to do hemp hearts in that situation. Your hemp hearts are like a 10 on the range of 1 to 10 for wellness, but they're more like an 8 for weight loss. So you just keep those in mind and know that nutrition is situational. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to achieve? Have you got 50 pounds to lose, or do you have just a few pounds to lose? Because that will affect how you want to do things as well. All right, so what this row right here is saying is category 1 with your hemp products. I already said all that. We're going to scroll back up or scroll down. Category 7 here is shellfish. So all this is saying is you could do the same thing. You could put your shellfish with your hemp, cook it up in the right oil, have some condiments on there, and you are good to go with an excellent fat-burning meal. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to scroll down just a little bit more. We have a new category here. Our new category is category 2, fibrous carbs. You can have half a cup up to a cup. Now remember, you are still going to be using the 2-hand rule. See, here's what's great about the 2-hand rule. A man whose hands are bigger gets more food than a person who is smaller, okay? So who needs less food. So this kind of is just a little guideline for you, half a cup up to a cup on your fibrous carbs. Broccoli is one of those items. Asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. So all of those things are just some of the items that are in the category 2 fibrous carb category. You can find lots and lots more in our food library. So what this row is saying right here is that you can put a category 1 lean protein with a category 2 fibrous carb, cook it up in the right oil, and add the condiments. And this is one, there's two combinations we're going to go over that are your fastest fat burning meals. This is one of them. This is one of them. So I think my very first shibboleth meal, I can't really remember, but it was the first or second day, chicken and broccoli. I mean, chicken and broccoli is just simple. Chicken and broccoli. If you don't like chicken and green beans, chicken and cauliflower. I mean, and we're not saying that you have to eat this for your whole time, the whole rest of your life, living the shibboleth lifestyle. You don't have to eat that the whole time, but it is a great way. It's a simple way to get started. If you ever get off track, it's a simple way to get refocused. Keep it simple. Okay, so category 1 and 2 with cooked in MCT, that is your fastest fat burning meal. Let's scroll up again. We've already familiarized ourselves with these category 7s and category 2s, but this is the other fastest fat burning combination. And the reason being is because category 7 is really just a category 1. So category 1 or 7 plus a category 2 cooked up in MCT oil, that is your fastest fat burning combination. So y'all do a lot of those in your first week. You're going to have great results. Let's scroll down a little bit more here. And I don't know what's going on with this website, but normally it has a flame right here with a plus sign. I'm going to ask them to get that fixed. But if you'll scroll down here, see how it's got a plus sign, but there's no flame behind it. Now, all that means is if I were to happen to rank these foods or these meals or these combinations in order of what's going to be the fastest, then those with the flame that I have up top would be excellent for fat burning. They'd be your fastest. But this is still great for fat burning, so don't exclude it just because it's not in the excellent category. But you can eat super category 6 all by itself. Let's read over and familiarize ourselves with some things that come in that category. Pintos, black beans, red beans, soybeans, peanut butter, nuts, and seeds. So those are just a few examples. We also have garbanzo beans and avocados and those kind of things that are in this superfood category. It says you can have a cup up to 1.5 cups of that. You can doctor it up with the right condiments and have a great fat burning meal, So you can have a 6 by itself. We're going to continue to scroll here, and what we are doing is we're adding a category 2 to a category 6. So you can put a category 6 on your plate, a category 2 on your plate, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you have a great fat burning meal. Please always remember that you are using the 2-hand rule. The 2-hand rule means that you are going to put your 2 hands together as close as possible, turn them like that, put them down over your food. If you do not see your food sticking around your hands, then you've portion controlled. This is awesome because even if you're at a restaurant and they serve you food on those massive size plates that they have in restaurants, you can still use your 2-hand rule. What a great idea in a restaurant is to go ahead and half that food and go ahead and put half of it in a doggy bag for you to eat later, okay? And you get 2 meals out of that and you've portion controlled. So let's scroll down a little bit more. We have a new category here. This category is a protein plus fat. So the first thing I want you to know about that is it's a great protein. I also want you to know this fat is not necessarily bad fat. This fat is okay for you to have in small, reasonable amounts, because fat is important to a lot of functions in our body. So you want to not leave it out all the time. So this is going to be still a great fat burning meal. You can actually eat a category 4 by itself if you need to, but optimally you'd put it with a category 2 right here as shown. So let's read over some of these things. Well, let's look at this first. 2 to 6 ounces. Did you notice how in the category 1 and category 7 that it said you could have 2 to 8 ounces, but this one is a little bit less, 2 to 6 ounces? The reason that is because in a 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. But in 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. So we have to just reduce the amount that we have of that just a little bit. It's really not that much, just a little bit. But that's why that is that way. Whole eggs, so your egg whites were in your lean protein, but your whole eggs are in the protein plus fat. Steak, all your cuts of steak are here. Pork ribs, beef ribs, turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa as long as 50% of the calories or more are not coming from fat. And then you could put that with a fibrous carb, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'll have a great fat burning meal. If you'll remember from last night's video, we have to consider every meat at a restaurant a category 4, protein plus fat, even if it's a piece of chicken, and you know that if you cook that at home, it would be a lean protein. But if you cooked that at home in the wrong oil, you would turn that into a protein plus fat as well. Okay, so if you cook a piece of chicken at home in canola oil, vegetable oil, or olive oil, you have turned that into a protein plus fat. You need to treat that accordingly then at that time. And then if you are out at a restaurant, they didn't cook it in MCT oil, okay? So you need to make sure that you don't order any categories 3s, which are your energy carbs, 5s, which are your fruit, or your 6s, which are your superfood, you don't want to order that with a category 4. So knowing that we consider all meat at a restaurant a category 4 keeps you safe. It tells you, I need to order this with a fibrous carb. I found out that I don't have to have the French fries at Longhorn. I can have their broccoli. Guess what? The broccoli there tastes better than their French fries anyway. So now I have their broccoli in a side salad. Let's scroll down a little bit more. We have a new category here. This new category is our energy carb. You can have a 1/4 cup up to 1/2 a cup. In weight loss, a 1/4 cup is going to be your better bet. Once you get into maintenance, you could try a 1/2 a cup and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, then you don't want to do that. But a 1/4 of a cup is okay in weight loss. You're still going to use your 2-hand rule. Now remember, there's going to be 3 things on your plate. Just because things on your plate doesn't mean it can take up more space. It still has to fit underneath your hands, all right? So when I think about eating an energy carb or fruit, I always do what Travis calls reverse engineer something. So if I know I'm going to eat something that I need to be more careful with, I say, okay, I'm going to have, let me read over these first and then I'll give you my example. All your potatoes are in the energy carb, oatmeal, your steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal, which I think is now called fiber and protein oatmeal, that from Quaker. And then long grain brown rice, the real stuff, okay, long grain, real stuff. Quinoa, peas, all of your peas are here. Tomato, onion, carrots, whole wheat pasta and whole grain pasta. I'm gonna give you my little caveat on this pasta. There's so many pastas that are better for you than category 3 pastas. You can do the black bean pasta, the mung bean pasta that is from Explore Cuisine. We sell that in the store, but other grocery stores sell it too. And then you could do carbonara pasta, which is actually considered a category 1, 2, and 3 because of the way that it's made. I would stick with those pastas over these kinds, but you can still have them, but about a 1/4 of a cup. So how much pasta is that? So I kind of just leave those out and find better alternatives for me. Okay, but let's talk about, let's say you want some lima beans. I use lima beans as an example every week because I like lima beans. So lima beans, you want lima beans. You're going to do about a 1/4 of a cup. The way that I see that, because I don't pull out my measuring cup and measure, is I see that as going about right here. This is where my lima beans are going to be sitting. So if I want those lima beans, I must combine them with a category 1 and a category 2. It's got to have both of those things with it. Maybe I put my lima beans here, and maybe I put some green beans here, or whatever you want. You put it there. And maybe I put my 96% lean ground beef patty right there. And so I have my meat. My lean protein doesn't have to be a meat, but in this example it was. But I have my lean protein, my fibers carb, and my energy carb all together. That makes a perfect combination, okay? That keeps you in efficient fat burning and it keeps you having a perfect day. If you eat that category 3 without combining it properly, it would be considered a holiday. So you would just mark it as such and you would keep going. I want to explain why this works because this is science right here. The combinations and the way that we can combine foods in a way that controls insulin is the #1 way to weight reduction. #1. The #2 important part is calories. Calories in and calories out, okay? But #1 is the combinations. Those are so important. So if you combine if you're going to eat some lima beans, like I suggested, you can have them, but a little bit of an insulin release is going to happen. It is. But you didn't overeat those lima beans, right? You had a 1/4 of a cup. So it doesn't require as much insulin to come out to regulate that blood sugar, all right? But you also, so you didn't overeat it, and then you also are combining it with lean protein and fibers carb. So you're allowing the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibers carb to neutralize the insulin release that is coming from the lima beans. So it's science. You have just done a science experiment. Here's the blessing of Shibboleth. It teaches us exactly what we need to do. We then get to figure out the meals that we like to eat. And because this is not a diet, it's all about living around here. We have a lifestyle. Figure out the foods that you like to eat, that you enjoy the absolute most, and then you stick with them, okay? And I did just put a video in the silver level group that if you'll find that, it's called using the worksheets, the Shibboleth worksheets, and you can start keeping track of all of the meals that you like right there in our website. So let's scroll down a little bit more, and we're going to look at category 5, fruit. All of your fruit is a category 5. Berries, apples, oranges, grapefruit, plums, grapes, bananas, peaches, pineapple, and kiwi. So let's just say, I'm reverse engineering this again. I know I need to be careful with my fruit while I am in weight loss. Because remember, in weight loss, fruit has to be combined properly. In maintenance, you can have a serving of fruit by itself as a snack if you'd like. But in weight loss, we have to combine it properly. So I'm thinking, I want some berries. Okay, I can have those berries. You can have maybe about half a cup of berries. Do half a cup of berries, but you need to pair it with a category 1 and a category 2. So maybe you make yourself an egg white spinach omelet, or maybe you do some yogurt with these berries in there, and maybe you throw some hemp flakes in there. Hemp flakes, remember, they're not even on this list right here, but hemp flakes are 1 and 2, so that would work. And you could have a delicious parfait for breakfast. So this right here is a great fat burning meal. So this is just what you can use kind of to keep it simple. But, you know, a couple of times I've mentioned easily accessible energy. And obviously all of those long chain triglyceride oils that we don't want to be using, those are easily accessible energy. Our body's going to be working on those a long time to burn them up. And all the whole time it's not accessing stored fat for its energy that we need for it to be accessing. Okay, so just trying to get this into your head as why you want to leave those out. But 3 energy carbs and category 5 fruit are both easily accessible sources of energy. So if you are really trying to have some great weight loss, you might want to leave those off for a minute. But I'll tell you what I did. Last year I got started and I had an entire month of June was perfect. Actually, the entire month of May was perfect, except for 3 days when I went out of town for a wedding. Then the entire month of June was perfect days. Well, I got to July 4th. I thought, I'm going to have a holiday. I couldn't do it. I was on such a great streak of perfect days. I just couldn't do it. So I said, well, why? I can stay in EFB. I'm going to eat a hamburger. I can eat a 96% lean hamburger. Anything that you want is available on Shibboleth. You just have to make sure that maybe you've switched over to the right products. But what I did on that day was I added a category 3, but I still did it in the right combination. I felt like I was having a holiday, but I wasn't. And then I also added a snack and an extra that day when I hadn't been doing those. So I totally felt like I was having a holiday just from adding those few extra things, but I was not having a holiday, and it didn't bring me out of EFB, efficient fat burning, for doing it. So you have to keep those kind of things in mind, because not even special days like a holiday or a birthday has to be a holiday on Shibboleth if you don't want it to be, and you can still truly enjoy it. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more, and we're going to look at some other things that you can use. I'm going to stop right here. Any questions? Okay, so if you've got any questions, it'd be a good time to ask them, because I can get stopped in between different little sections here. But let's look at category 2 breads. Here's a hallelujah moment. There are over 60 approved bread or bread type items in the category 2 category, which is amazing, the fibrous carb category. So the reason this is so amazing is because most people aren't willing to give up bread for the rest of their life. You know, you start a diet and it says give up bread, you're like, I don't want to do that. You might be able to do it for a week. You might be able even to white knuckle it and do it for a month. But most people don't want to give that up, okay? So you want to make sure that you're just using the right bread, and we'll look at that. We're going to go over some cheese right here in just a second, Tashana, and peanut butter. What I would do is I would go into the food library and look up, search for peanut butter, and it'll pull it up. Most of the natural peanut butters that you would find in store, like Jiffy Natural, Skippy Natural, those are approved. But there's a long list of peanut butter. Also some really great peanut butter that's sold at the Shibboleth store. The Nuts and More is really good. That's great. We're going to go over some cheeses in just a second. And I hope that answered your question. If it didn't answer your question, Tashana, expand on it a little bit, because are you asking like which grocery stores, or are you asking where to find what's approved on the website? So let's look over at these category 2 breads. La Tortilla Factory tortillas. I love a tortilla. I didn't know that I would use tortillas so much, but I enjoy them. I wrap up my Johnsonville turkey cheddar smoked sausage in a Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla, put a little ketchup and mustard in there, and I've got a delicious meal. Healthy Life bread, Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, Brand Crisp bread. I had that for dinner tonight. I'm doing the Tiger's Challenge today, and that's the only bread that's allowed on that. It's not even really a bread. It's really like a dry cracker. So if you like a dry cracker, that works great. If you don't like a dry cracker, that wouldn't work for you. Healthy Life hot dog buns in the Thomas Light 100 calorie English muffins. So those are just some examples, but I also really like the Joseph's mini pitas and Joseph's lavish bread. Those are great too. So let's see. Okay, yeah, Tashana, in the website. So just go into the food library and search for cheese, and then search for peanut butter. And then that'll help you get there. Once you find the things that you like, make sure that you heart them, because when you heart them, then it saves into your own personal food library. It creates your own personal food library. Okay, so let's look at some approved sweeteners. Stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. So those are some often used sweeteners. And Splenda, I know Splenda is an artificial sweetener. Some people don't like to use that. I want you to know that in no way are we promoting that you use this, but what we are saying is that you can use it, okay? So xylitol is my favorite, and then I bought myself some monk fruit syrup for my Carb Quick pancakes and everything, but you can use those approved sweeteners. Obviously, you can have water. That is a wonderful thing. So if you remember, somebody tell me how much water you need to drink in a day for it to be the minimum amount, and then tell me what your goal is in a day. Awesome, Dan. Awesome. Thank you. 64 ounces is your minimum amount, and 128 is your goal in a day. That's great. So as long as you have 64 ounces, you can call that a perfect day. I don't call it a perfect day if I hit 63. I'm going to go in there and drink another ounce of water, because if I let anything slip like that, then the whole thing starts slipping. Y'all know how that goes, okay? So I make sure that I'm pretty strict with it. You can have any 0-calorie beverage. You can have unsweet or approved tea, coffee with approved sweeteners. If you are looking for an approved sweetener, all you have to do is go to the food library, and there is a link to approved sweeteners. I don't drink coffee, but one of the things that I have found out or heard that I probably would try is I would get a Premier protein shake and use it like my coffee creamer. Take the little lid off, pour it in, no more than 15 calories. One, you've added a little bit of extra protein to your coffee. You've given yourself a flavor and kind of given it the creamy look or texture that maybe you were looking for in using a creamer. So I would use a ready-to-drink protein shake as my creamer. That's just something I thought of. Okay, so let's look at some cheeses here. Fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, Cabot extra light cheese, Laura Lynn fat-free cheese, Kroger brand fat-free cheese, and Lifetime fat-free cheese. Now, Travis really likes this Lifetime fat-free cheese. I've not seen it in any stores myself. He buys it from the Lifetime cheese website, and he says it's a really high-quality cheese. So if you're looking for a good, high-quality fat-free cheese, there you go, right there. I really like this Borden fat-free cheese. It is a singles. In singles, I think it tastes better than the other fat-free singles. I find that at Publix, Ingles, those are the two places I found it. And then I really enjoy this Cabot extra light cheese. It is a block cheese. And so I take that block and I cut it into 50-calorie increments. And that can be used as my condiment on my fibrous carb salad. I don't use salad dressing, so I don't have any need to use my condiments in that way, but I like to have my cheese on there. So I'll take it and I'll shred it over the top. So that's the way I use that cheese. Okay, let's look at milks here. Milks, the ones we're going to use, we consider them a lean protein, but not all milk is a lean protein, okay? The fat-free Fairlife milk is, the Kroger Carb Master milk is, and hemp milk is. Now, the reason that you don't use skim milk is because it doesn't have protein in it. Most of the time when people drink milk or have milk with a meal, it's with Cereal. Cereal is starchy. It's a little bit carby, okay? So it has to have enough protein to offset the insulin release that comes from that carbiness of the cereal. So this is why we let you use these, fat-free Fairlife milk and Kroger Carb Master milk. The reason you can use those is because they have the protein in them that skim milk does not. That's important. If you are using this as a component of your meal, let's say category 1 component, then you can have up to 8 ounces of it, 8 ounces. But if you are just running out the door that morning and you need something, you can do up to 16 ounces of it as a meal. You could have that by itself as a meal. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit more. If you like to bread your food, maybe you like breaded chicken and different things like that, then we've got some answers for you right here. Coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP. TVP stands for textured vegetable protein, and almond flour. So all of those things can be used. We use a lot of these things in our recipes on the recipe library where you might have used flour before. We're going to use these. Maybe where you used a baking mix before, then you can use Carb Quick. Carb Quick is considered a category 2 fibrous carb. I make some little biscuits that are these cheddar and garlic biscuits. I use them as my category 2 side item. Makes me feel like I got a whole chunk of biscuit and I like it. And the ones from whatever that restaurant is, that's anyway, so you can, but Carb Quick, you don't want to use the recipes on the Carb Quick box. They did not take into account shibboleth rules when they put those on there, okay? If you want to make things like pancakes and biscuits and things like that with your Carb Quick, make sure you use a recipe from the Carb Quick recipes in the recipe library. If you want to, if you're planning on ordering the zero drag, if you're planning on ordering the zero drag MCT oil from the Shibboleth store, you can order some Carb Quick from there as well because we sell that. And it's not easily found out and about, I've heard. Then let's look at some cereals that are good to start. Kashi Go Lean Original, K's Natural Cereal, and the High-Low Nutritious Living. Those are all good to get you started. There are tons of cereal on the program that, you know, they're not going to be the best for you, but they still work. But these are going to be better to get started. You can do a cup up to a cup and a half. I'm not going to read over these condiments here because we've already gone over condiments. So let's look at these restaurants, okay? And what I want you to know about restaurants is you need to familiarize yourself with the restaurants that you frequent most often. Go into the restaurant guide in the website and go to the restaurants that you go to the most often and look and see what they are saying that you could order. And then don't just look and see, oh, I can have so-and-so. You actually need to open that up and read it. You need to read it ahead of time because if you needed to take your own bread or your own tortilla or something like that, you have that with you. We call having a survival kit. We call that having a survival kit. So you can take your tortilla, you can take your salad dressing, you can take your own chips, whatever you might need, you can take those with you if you've looked ahead of time at that. Now, a lot of times when you're eating at a sit-down restaurant, you have time to figure out, hey, which one of these category 4s for meat do I want? Which one of these category 2 fibrous carbs do I want? You have time to sit and order. But when you go to a fast food restaurant, sometimes you feel rushed. Well, we do feel rushed because it's supposed to be fast, right? The experience is supposed to be fast. So one, I would highly suggest that you just not worry about that, okay? Stand there as long as you need to and make a good decision rather than a hurried decision and ruin a perfect day sometimes. If you need to let people go ahead of you in line so that you can stand there and continue making your decisions and your choices, then let them go ahead in line, okay? But make the best decision for you. But there are so many things that you can have at fast food restaurants too, but you want to know how to order them. So do that ahead of time and you'll be ready to order. So Chick-Fil-A is a real popular restaurant. We all know that. You can have 8 to 12 grilled nuggets with a side salad. If you're willing to give up 4 of those nuggets to get fried ones, this girl right here, then you can have 8 of those fried nuggets and you can have that with a side salad. The dressing that you'd want to order there would be the light Italian dressing. I don't use the whole dressing. See, I don't even do dressing that much, but I actually have eaten more dressing just by trying a few things here and there in Shibboleth than I ever did before. I've never been a dressing person. but I do like the little Italian dressing from Chick-fil-A. I just drizzle it over the top, just enough to give me a little flavor there. Then at a Mexican restaurant, you can do a bowl of chicken soup, no rice. You can do 3 soft chicken tacos, use your own tortilla. I actually have just quit eating at Mexican restaurants. It had nothing to do with Shibboleth. I had stopped eating at Mexican restaurants before Shibboleth because I never felt good afterwards. I never felt good after I ate there. And so I quit doing it. My family was going to Mexican restaurants without me before Shibboleth, and I just continued that. But if you do go there, if I was going to go to a Mexican restaurant, I would ask them to cut me up some bell peppers, and then I would dip that in some cheese dip, and that's what I would enjoy. And you could do these other things too, but that's what I think, because I want the cheese dip. Okay, McDonald's, quarter pounder on your own bread. So you need to be prepared there and take your own thing. Now, if you don't need the bread, just eat the meat. Now, this is a real popular one right here. Wendy's small chili over side salad. And then you could do Burger King. It says grilled chicken with side salad. Somebody told me they quit making that, but I don't know. You know, restaurants change their menu all the time. And then I'm not going to continue reading those, but I just want you to realize that you should familiarize yourself with what is available at the restaurants that you frequent the most, okay? So go ahead and do that. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to stop sharing my screen I'm going to share my screen in a different way real quick. Actually, because I want to take us to the Shibboleth website, and I want to show you these things. Okay, so this is going to be one of your favorite tabs: resources, foods, and recipes. Let me make sure that everybody can see this. Yep. Okay, so you click right there on that green tab. This right here, this is going to be one of your best friends, the approved food library. I actually went through and read every food in the library, okay? And right now when people are sitting at home, you could do that. But if you click right here on lean protein, this is going to tell you the foods that are in the lean protein category. Now it's taken a minute to pull up. I've got a lot of tabs open, I always do. So do you see these blue things right here, these blue buttons? These are filters. So earlier when I said if you don't eat meat, then you could filter those things out. You could click vegan and vegetarian or whichever ones, and then hit, oh, it's thinking. And so what I did was it's going to now list only the things that are vegetarian. And if you're vegan, it's the things that are vegan. This is a pretty long list for it to go through, so there you go. So this is all vegetarian stuff. So there's some vegetarian things that you could use. Now, if you'll notice, I went through and I hearted stuff that I liked, because what happens is once you heart those things, it moves over into your own personal journal right here. It moves them into your journal, into your own personal food library, so that you can not have to deal with the big giant food library. You can create your own just for you. This is saying that it is a a -1 on the weight loss meter. The weight loss meter is what I consider it, a secondary way to judge food. So we judge food the first way by what category does it fall in. Then a secondary way to judge food is how great is it for weight loss, or is it not so great for weight loss? See this little weight loss meter right here? You've got -3 there, and you've got 3 right here at these 2 little balls here. Okay, you can take this little ball here, and for weight loss, let's slide this over to -1 to -3, because that's going to be your best for weight loss. Then when you get the little range there, your ratio -1 to -3, you're going to hit the set button. And what it's going to do is it's only going to bring up, now I've got vegetarian chosen, okay, but it's going to bring up things that are in the -1 to -3 range. And if you like this code here, you heart it. See, this says 179 other people have also said they like that carbonara pasta. We sell that at the Shibboleth store too, if you're interested. We've got the egg noodles and the garlic flavored. And then if you wanted to add this to a grocery list, you can click right there. If you are participating in the new member fast track group this week, I have a video on that that's going to come out one morning this week. So you'll want to do that because I'm helping you shorten your learning curve if you'll watch those little videos, okay? And then, so this is one way to filter foods with these types of things. Maybe you want an allergen-free, you can click there. Maybe you don't want any artificial sweeteners. Maybe you don't want any high fructose corn syrup. You can use all those filters, and you can use this weight loss meter, okay? We're gonna click right back up here, and I just looked up at the Facebook, and Pat says that she can totally believe that I read every food in the food library. I did. But it's exciting. So I think it's fun. Okay, then your recipe library is really great. You click right there. These foods right here change on a regular basis. I don't know if y'all knew that, but those change so that you can have some new foods to look up that look appetizing. So let's say that you want to, over here, it's by the type of food. And then over here, it's by type, but listed out underneath there, okay? So let's say that I want to make these Canadian bacon roll-ups. All right, I'm gonna click on that. And it shows me these different, the ingredients. And then if you wanted to, you could click right here. It'll take you to that ingredient. It tells you what category it's in, tells you how to fix it, tells you the serving notes, what you would need to call it. Then if you read underneath here, there's all these different comments. So I do highly suggest that you read the comments ahead of time. One time I did not, and there was much salt in something, and people, I went back and looked, and people had said that, but I hadn't taken the time to read it. So I didn't know. So next time I didn't make it with as much salt. And then this shows you here that this recipe is considered a -2. If you really like this recipe, you can heart it right there. If you want to pop this whole recipe into your grocery list, you can hit that right there. And if you really find that you love this recipe, you can rate it right there. And if you want to share this, you can click share and it'll share it. You can share it out to your personal Facebook page and show your friends how awesome Shibboleth is and really cool things. These are our recently added recipes right there. And then we're going to look at restaurant guide, and then we're going to wrap this up. Restaurant options. Lots and lots of restaurant options. So right here, it says #1 rule for restaurant, any 1 + 2, but now at a restaurant, you need to consider it a 4. Any 4 + 2 or any 7 + 2 combination. So you could do that at a restaurant, and that'll keep you safe every single time. But let's say that we want to go to Applebee's and we want to eat this blackened shrimp. Well, let's see. Let's do this Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp. First of all, that shows you can have chicken and shrimp together. And here you go. It shows you that you're going to have fibers, carbs with it. You got a 4 protein plus fat, and you're going to have some condiments in there. You need to ask to have the potatoes swapped out for steamed broccoli, a house salad, or mixed greens side salad. No croutons. Use your own approved salad dressing, preferably 0 calorie. Remember portion control. Your meat should fit under one hand. An entire meal must fit under both hands. You should be able to save part of this meal for another time. So this right here tells you exactly how to order it and what to do. I mean, this is an amazing program. I just needed to know the guidelines. I needed somebody to point these kind of things out to me, and I absolutely love Shibboleth for doing that. And I thank Travis for everything that he does for us and the whole team, because they put all this together. You know, you have to surround yourself with the people that are going to help you succeed in your business. And Kim Shibboleth watches this really, really carefully. And I think some other team members do too, but this food library and this kind of stuff is kind of Kim's baby. So she's doing a great job. But if you'll notice this right here, this is a 0 on the weight loss meter. It's not going to help you, not going to hurt you. As for using positive numbers in the weight loss meter, it's not going to take you out of efficient fat burning. It just may not get the results that you wanted, okay? So you can still do it, and it wouldn't be a holiday, but it's just something else to think about. But also, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to get just stuck on having just -3s, okay? So you want to make sure that you use a variety. And I hope that y'all have enjoyed tonight's simple food combining webinar. Let's see. Yep, and Pat's saying on Facebook, learn it and do it. It works. Pat, tell them on Facebook how much weight you've lost, because Pat is an inspiration. She certainly is. I've lost 50 pounds, and I've been keeping that off since September, okay? And there have been times in my life where I lost 40 pounds before, but then I put it back on. This, I now know how to live it. And do you know what I say? I call it hashtag Shibboleth confidence, because I have complete confidence that I will never gain that back. I have confidence that when I get back from a vacation, I know what to do to get any weight I put on while I was on vacation, how to get that back off. And I also know that I can enjoy my vacation and do what I want to. But you know, a lot of those times I'm going to make better decisions even when on vacation, just because of things that I've learned. Let's see, Pat has lost 92 pounds. Way to go, Pat! Woo! Oh, I love it. I love it. So, y'all, it's an amazing program. I want you to get it set in your mind that this is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. There's no reason that you cannot do this with your family. Your family can eat this food. This isn't weird food. This is what we should have been learning while we were in elementary school, middle school, and high school, but nobody ever taught us, okay? That's why so many people struggle. They hadn't been taught the right things. So now you are an adult, and you can choose to do what's right for your body. You can choose to learn the things that you need for the benefit of you and your family, and you can choose to implement them in your family and in your household and for yourself. So if you have not liked the Shibboleth public page yet, please do that. I go live there Monday through Friday, always before 8 o'clock in the morning. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be a little bit earlier. Those of you that are typically watching, I'll be on about 7 o'clock in the morning instead of 7:30, 7:40-ish, okay, because I'm going back to Chattanooga to fly the drone tomorrow. So I wish y'all all a great night. Reach out to all of us, but most of all, please, please, please participate in the new member fast track group this week and watch the 14 little fast track videos. Watch the YouTube video that comes out every single morning in the group, because that's me showing you how to use this awesome website. And I just gave you a little brief tour tonight. I dig in a little bit deeper, but none of the videos are much longer than 10 minutes. They're all short, okay, all short. And then afterwards, after you've done all of that and you have earned your fast track badge, remember I showed y'all your badge. After you've earned this badge right here, the next thing that you are going to do is you are going to watch Travis's daily doses. Now, I'm real good at teaching people how to do this. Travis is real good on helping you figure out your why you're going to do this, okay? So you got to watch those videos. You got to see Travis's enthusiasm for this program. Once you've listened to his videos and taken his test and passed this test, then you're going to get this badge, all right? Once that has happened, those of you that are new, your entire website is going to open up, because not everybody's website is completely open yet. You have to earn some of those things because we want to keep it simple in the beginning for you. Once you've done all of that, I want you to continue journaling, because as you journal, you're going to help build your timing chart so that you can get an idea of what that looks like. Remember, 2 perfect days, and then you get into EFB. After a holiday, it's 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. But to earn this shirt, guys get a white shirt, ladies get a pink shirt. But to earn this shirt, you need a journal for 30 consecutive days. You needed to have passed this test right here, the phase 1 foundation test, and you need to have lost 10% of your body weight, and then you'll get this. Once this badge pops up into your website, you click the badge, you will confirm your address, pick your size, and a shirt will be on its way. All right, well, you know I love you, and I hope to see you in the morning on the Shibby Show, and please participate in the fast track group. The way that I know that you're participating in the fast track group is for you to comment that you've done it, because I ask questions. I ask you to pick out meals that you would like. There is something else I want to add to this, and I just did a little video on it on the worksheets. So go into the silver level group and find the video that I just posted on the worksheets. Or actually, it's better to find it in the video library under tutorials, how to use the worksheets, because that's a very great task for you to do as a brand new member. Okay? Well, y'all have a blessed and wonderful night. I hope that you have a perfect day tomorrow. I'm having a perfect day tomorrow. And unless it's your birthday, there's no reason not to have a perfect day tomorrow. All right. Good night, y'all.